What's up, nerds? Welcome to Nintendo Pow Block, our all Nintendo show. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deerigan. Alongside me, as always, that chocolatey goodness over there, Edward Varnell.
Corey, you are my white chocolate, and I just want to eat you up.
Yes. That's what they called me in high school, white chocolate.
Yum.
Not really. They didn't really call me that. How's it going,
We
Ed?
actually had, I actually have a friend called White Chocolate because he can sing, and yes, he is white. Oh, he's a great singer, amazing singer. But I'm doing good, Corey. How are you?
I'm good. Ed, I did something today.
What did you do?
Before I went to go pay off Disgaea 5 and instead ended up buying a Nintendo eShop card and bought 3 other games and didn't pay any of Disgaea 5 off.
Oh wow! But yes, what games did you get?
I got Graceful Explosion Machine, which is kind of like a twin stick E type shooter. Mr. Shifty, which is a game we've been talking about on the show for weeks now.
Yes.
And Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap, recommended not only by the internet but one Todd Oxtra, friend of show. Man, I cannot wait to play these games. They're downloading as we speak. But yeah, man.
I have Wonder Boy, The Dragon's Trap. Such a good game. A little bit frustrating at first, but it's such a good game. Good animation. Hopefully, I kind of want them to remake the Wonder Boy of Monster Land. I like the second Wonder Boy game. I kind of want them to go back and remake that. But awesome, dude. Mr. Shifty. Did they do an update for it yet? Or I heard they was working on it.
There is an update to fix the frame rate issues, but I haven't started it yet, so I am unsure. I don't know if the update downloads with the game, like on Xbox and PlayStation.
Mhm.
Like they kind of download the most current update with the game.
Yes.
But the one thing I do like on Switch now is that now that I have more than like 12 games across that cross media bar, there's this new option to where it says all software, and it puts all of your games in a nice grid-like fashion, kind of like when you go to My Games and Apps on your Xbox One, and it shows all the tiles right there that you can just kind of pick from.
Kind of like the 3DS, where you do
Yeah.
the all tiles, and they got those kind of things. Yeah.
Kind of, but a lot cleaner, I think, than the 3DS, which is kind of hard to do because that's so simple anyway. But this is a lot cleaner, and it looks like it. I like it. It's cool.
They haven't did
yeah,
folders
man,
yet, right?
No, not yet.
Oh,
Not yet.
I can't wait for them.
I'm looking forward to organizing all
Yes.
these games. And like the folders don't even like necessarily need to be implemented right away, but an option just to alphabetize from A to Z your games would be a really, really nice feature, because that's just how my mind works, and that's how and PlayStation does it and Nintendo doesn't do it yet. And it's just kind of like, oh man, like Zelda is first, and then you got Blaster Master Zero last, and it's just like it's really, really bugging me. But
It's
yeah.
kind of like how I did on Wii U. I have like the Mega Man games all in a folder, the Mega Man X games in a folder, and then like NES, Super NES,
Mhm.
like games for the platforms and stuff or series all together, and it just makes it so easy. Like I even got a Nitty folder to put all my indie games in, and I love that. It just it it makes me be able to go to that genre or that game franchise and be like, okay, bam, that's what I want. Bam, I'm done. I'm good to go.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I really like that on Wii U also, except for the fact that like I didn't buy that many virtual console games because I'd already bought so many on the Wii
Uh,
that I would just kind of just boot it up into Wii mode and play them from there. But the ones that I really wanted, I did purchase. Like I repurchased Mario 64 uh, on the Wii U, and I had a folder for N64 games, for GBA games, for DS games, which kind of don't work well on there. But I don't know. It was I do, yeah, now that you're saying it, I do kind of want folders now just to organize, especially when Virtual Console comes. I think that's when we're going to need folders.
Yeah, but
Just
it
so I can
looks really good
organize.
on your screen. You showed me earlier. I'm like, it looks really good.
Yeah, if you're watching the video, you can kind of see it a little bit. But yeah, I think it's cool that they finally have this option to just, you can see all of your software right up front. And then it's cool because if you get the cartridges for the games, where it just like the name kind of scrolls across the top of the game, but if it's a downloaded game, it doesn't have it. But if it's a cartridge based game that you own, it has a little cart next to it, and if the cartridge is in, the icon is filled in, and if the cartridge is not in, it's kind of grayed out. So
That's cool.
it's pretty nice. It's coming along. It looks cool. I like the OS though. It's super simple, and yeah, I like, everybody was making such a big deal that like multimedia apps weren't on there yet. Like, I don't need them on here because like I said before, like my Xbox One is now my Netflix machine while I'm playing Zelda. So, man, I just, it's going to make me really sad when Shadow of the Tomb Raider comes out and I'm not going to be able to play it on my Switch. Because I'm going to have to actually play a game on the TV for once.
They did do a update to the OS, right? I think.
Yeah, but it's more of a stability thing. Some features were crashing the system out to the dashboard and stuff. It's there's still some kinks in the armor, but they'll flush it out. I mean, let's face it, PlayStation and Xbox's OSs weren't exactly diamonds when you booted them up. And Xbox still doesn't really know what it wants to do, even when you try to tell it what to do.
Xbox just did a whole refresh, which is like, we'll just give you a whole new dashboard and give.
I know. Now I'm even more confused. And then, oh man, I've been playing so much Switch that every time I turn my Xbox on, I press B when I'm supposed to be pressing A because the buttons are switched. A, B, X, Y are all backwards on the Xbox. So like, it's a confusing time right now, Ed. Confusing. That's why I have trust issues. X is in a different spot on every controller.
Oh wow, I'm able to handle. I'm able to jump to different controllers when playing games, and that might be a discussion we'll have later on the show. It's like when you play a game on a different system, even though you're used to another system's controller, it gets kind of confusing at times. You just be like, why they didn't just do this? Be like, oh, okay, I understand that now.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I'm super enjoying my Switch, and it's ruined me because I did pay off Fire Emblem for 3DS today.
Yay!
And I tried to play my 3DS last night in bed while my Switch was charging. Switch has ruined me for handheld gaming, man. I just like I don't know. Like the Vita screen always looked better than the 3DS, but the 3DS was good enough compared to the Vita. And like the game, I still feel like a lot of the games on the 3DS are superior to a lot of the ones that were released on the Vita. Except for like, Gravity Rush is such a great game. That's like the closest thing I think Sony has to a Nintendo type franchise.
I need to play Gravity Rush. I want to play one and I want to get two. I want to play both.
Gravity Rush. I haven't played the second one yet. It's still sitting over here in the cellophane. Like I still want to play that game. But man, 3DS's library is just so good, especially these last like 2 or 3 years. It's just gotten exponentially better. But
and I need to catch up on my 3DS library. I need to finish a lot of games for it because I bought a lot of games. It even got cases for a lot of these games. But there's just so much coming out for it that I'm just like, will I have the time to play these. And definitely when I get my Switch, I'm going to be torn because it's going to be like, when do I now just play Switch at home and take it with me on the go to finish a game for a discussion or something? Or do I dive into something like Ever Oasis on 3DS and try to finish that game within 2.5 weeks? Like, it's going to be crazy for me to juggle.
Yeah.
And I know Switch won't spoil me. I have to make sure that it doesn't spoil me, Corey, because if it spoils me just like you, it's gonna be a problem. We're gonna be up at night and be like, dude, I know I gotta be at work at 4 o'clock, but I just put my Switch out and just started playing it.
Yeah, it's like even when I've been replaying Fire Emblem Fate's Birthright to get ready for the new
Yes.
one, and I know the new one's kind of different in a lot of ways, but it's like, and I've also been playing Fire Emblem Heroes on my phone, and it's like even my phone screen has ruined me because like the 3DS's screen is not as bright and not as crisp, and I'm just like, I can't drag my units to this new spot. And it's like, I don't know. I'm gonna play through Fire Emblem on 3DS, but honestly, it even though I want to play Hey Pikmin and Ever Oasis, like,
Yeah.
Fire Emblem might be my last real hurrah on 3DS, man. It's like,
No, not for me.
and then oh, I did, however, pre-order Darksiders for Wii U today because I feel like that's one of those games that belongs on a Nintendo system.
yes.
So, and I have Darksiders 2. It was that was one of the first games I bought on my Wii U. So now I have them both on my Wii U, and it's just like, yes, yes.
Yeah, I think I should probably next week when I get paid again before I leave for my trip. I'm gonna pre-order it too on my Wii U because just like you, I got the digital version of Darksiders 2 on my Wii U, and it's just like I need both games on it.
Yeah.
Because it, and this is so crazy because I just downloaded Darksiders on Xbox One. I got Darksiders 2, the definitive edition, on PS4. I got Darksiders 2 on Wii U, and then I got Darksiders on my PS3. Oh no, and I got Darksiders 2. I think I got Darksiders 2 on my PS3 also. So I think I got the collection. But I know I got the definitive edition on Xbox, not Xbox, on PS4. So I own both games about multiple times. Oh, good. And I think that is Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is the game that I own the most.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because like I feel like Darksiders is one of those games that's super underappreciated. Especially the second one was more fleshed out and did a lot of cool things. I think I would really like to see Nintendo go out and grab Darksiders as like a exclusive.
I'm saying this. And I know Darksiders 3 exclusive THQ Nordic for Switch.
I don't know if it's going to be exclusive, but I would love to see a third one on Switch. Like I would like them to bundle 1 and 2 together at some point and put them on Switch as like a $60 thing, even, or like, you know, two $40 carts or whatever. You know, I would totally double dip on Switch. Like, Darksiders is really good. But yes, I mean, that team though is making that that RPG, that Kickstarted RPG for Switch. What's it called?
That looks so good. I definitely gotta
something.
Battle Chasers, Nightwing or Night something. Yeah, I'm ready to get that game. Like, and depending on if it's good, even if it's good or not, I'm loving the art style. I'm loving that THQ Nordic is going to support Switch. And even though if it's a small indie game, I'm willing to pick it up and give it a try. It showed that at least that I'm supporting you guys. So even if you don't make any more Switch games, I hope that enough people were able to buy the copies that you guys make a profit off of this game. And I just want to show my support for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Battle Chasers looks really cool. I can't wait for it. And like, I don't know, man. It has something cool about it. It's like a turn-based RPG, but has dungeon crawling elements in it. It looks cool. It looks really cool. But yeah, let's talk about some of the
Yeah.
quick news bits coming in, and then we'll get to our main topic of the show, which we've been promising for a while: E3 predictions. So earlier this week, whoa, excuse me, sorry, my bad. Earlier this week, Bandai Namco trademarked Pac-Man Maker, which is tangentially Nintendo. What are your thoughts on this? Because I feel like I don't know if it'd be as in depth as Mario Maker, but I think it would be cool to see a different take on Pac-Man, especially with the success of Pac-Man Championship Edition, and Pac-Man's kind of almost cool again, I guess, in terms of the retro style Pac-Man stuff. So, what do you think?
I think it's cool. I think what they have to do is implement the different versions of Pac-Man and the different gameplay mechanics. Some people don't know, some people might remember. Pac-Man had like a 3D one where it was like kind of on a diag, and the maze looked like Lego Lego blocks or Mega blocks, like Duplo big blocks. It would be cool to get that style of game in. If it's just the old arcade game and you're just actually designing the maze and putting the pellets and stuff like that and putting the fruit and stuff, that'd be fine. But they really have to go out. There's got to be a lot of diversity to it. I'm happy that they're doing it, but they really got to like really invest some thought and time of this. I'm sorry to say, but maybe this game should be $30 if it does come out, because if it's that basic, then and they don't really add a lot, it might not be worth the purchase if it's more than $30.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'm kind of with you. Plus, it all kind of relies on that community that's building these levels too. So like
yes.
I don't really think Pac-Man has the same type of speed run slash create your own levels thing that Mario did before Mario Maker came out, because you saw those PC emulators of a Mario Maker type thing where people would speed run through those kinds of levels and make super hard levels, and that's kind of what drove the success of Mario Maker. And which the numbers on Mario Maker just came out recently, almost 5 million sold on Wii U and 2.5 million sold on 3DS, which
Dang,
that's a lot for
that's
Mario
a
Maker.
lot.
That's a ton of copies, especially like when 1/3 of your install base owns Mario Maker. That's so much.
And this so quickly for during Christmas when it came out. Like every restock that I got in my job for Super Mario Maker for 3DS, it was out the door. So
Yep. So I don't know if Pac-Man has that same impact, but at the same time, if it's 30 or even almost $40, probably just based on the Pac-Man name and stuff like that, it might. You know what this would actually be way better bundled in with is that Namco Museum. If they just bundled it in and made Namco Museum $60 with Pac-Man Maker.
well, you have Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, and Pac-Man Jr. So you have those those three characters, and then Party Championship Edition. Hopefully that 3D Pac-Man. You have versus Pac-Man, so you kind of got like almost like 5 different styles right there. But yeah, I can see it in the Nemco. I could see that in the Nemco hits.
Yeah. So
Collection.
it's interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. The next story, which is enticing for me, at least, and probably you as well, and we talked about Ubisoft a lot last week or last episode.
Yes.
Ubisoft opens 2 new AAA studios, one in France and one in Germany. They're going to focus on AAA games, but smaller projects, which means maybe they'll be working on AAA Switch games. And that's what the article sounds like. It's company, or they've worked on games such as Just Dance, Steep, some developers from the Rayman team. So it looks like they're kind of building up a team to build, I guess, what you would call kind of underpowered games, but still AAA. Which you know, let's kind of be realistic for a minute. The Switch isn't as powerful as the Scorpio is, or the Xbox or the PS4 Pro is, and I think it's cool that Ubisoft is opening studios to kind of fit that middle ground where, you know, they don't have to be the most powerful games on the planet. So
yeah, and people have been saying that, you know, power to them doesn't matter. You can have a powerful machine and everything, but it still doesn't change the way that you play games. It still doesn't change the art style that you could do on something that's underpowered. Look at Breath of the Wild.
mm-hmm.
You know, it's on Switch and it's on Wii U, and they look fantastic. Where sometimes if you, and I don't want to get on Gears 4 or anything, but it looks good. But you know, how dead in the next 3 or 4 years, and it's running on a powerful machine. You know, even
Yeah.
Horizon looks really good, but how dated that's going to look in a couple of years compared to if you look at Breath of the Wild, you'll still probably be impressed at how, even though it's on an underpowered machine. Yeah, I think you'll probably still be impressed on the that was used in the game, and just seeing that, wow, how the clouds, how the wind is blowing the grass, and how it just looks, be like, wow, it still looks good. So if Ubisoft they don't, you know, Ubisoft could still make AAA games, but they hopefully they're able to use some art styles that really make the game look good, and hopefully they get the gameplay tight, because that's going to matter most over the graphical. Is that, yeah, it's good that you support a Switch, but make sure that the gameplay is really tight, is really good, and then have a nice coat of paint for its graphical style to it. You know, yeah, we're getting Monopoly, but I want to see a cool version of Assassin's Creed that you guys have not been able to do. Not Go games or anything like that, but a nice Assassin's Creed game that takes a different art style. Let's see a cell shaded Assassin's Creed, and if you can do that on Switch.
Like, you look at some of the, like, this brings up a good point that I was just thinking of when you were talking about, and this is a discussion we should have on another show, power versus art direction, and you can utilize both and make a really wonderful game like Zelda or you know, even Mario Kart. But like, if you look at the comics, if you did like the comics of Assassin's Creed, that art direction looks so cool and kind of fits that universe so well. What if Ubisoft made a, you know, they can do their realistic stuff with you know, whatever the Egyptian one is supposedly this fall for Xbox One and PS4, but you take that comic style approach, that cell shaded look, and just build a world around that, and make an exclusive for Switch. People would eat that up, especially the way people are like, because every podcast I listen to, every person I know that bought a Switch is like, man, you know what game would fit really well in this? Assassin's Creed. Everybody I've talked to has said Assassin's Creed. And that would, honestly, getting a game like that for Switch as an exclusive, and I don't know if Ubisoft would take that risk right now, but if they did that, I feel like so many people would be like, yeah, an Assassin's Creed on Switch that I can take with me and grind out these little side quests and do the big story moments on TV. Yes, sign me up.
And still be able to do the multiplayer, because once again, people are going to be on the go. And it would be cool to see like a whole group of 4 people together at a con playing Assassin's Creed. I'm like,
Mhm.
it would be so good. Or people going to like who has a room and stuff, putting their Switch to the TV if it hooks up, and then everybody having their own Switch and still connecting that way.
Mhm.
And just people will want that and enjoy it, and I think they will probably do more sales or equal sales of Assassin's Creed than and that they would on the other two systems.
Mhm. Yeah, and so like I would really like to see that direction for Assassin's Creed in terms of putting it on Switch. And I haven't been into Assassin's Creed in a really long time. I really loved Black Flag, which was the
Mhm.
last one I really played. Uh, I didn't touch Unity because everybody just kept saying how bad it was. And then I played Syndicate for a little bit, and it was just like, I can't do this. I can't do this again. But like, I'm ready for an Assassin's Creed game that, they've taken a year off. They're reassessing the franchise. And if they put something like that on Switch, I
Yes.
am on board again. And it's not to say that like I don't trust in what they're going to put on PlayStation or Xbox, but if they took the risk and did something cool on Switch like that, like it's different from the Wii U and the Wii. Like I think people who bought a Switch would reward them for that. I think they would reward their
Yes.
risk taking, and they could sell 1 million units on Switch. Like you don't have to have it be a super huge budget title. Like you can make it a smaller budget title and still take that risk, and you would still reap the rewards because it would be a cool idea. Like it doesn't need to be a 50, 60 hour fetch quest game. It can be a 25-hour open world experience, you know, and you can do cool assassinations and take out all these crazy guys. Like it can still be the Assassin's Creed experience without being a huge experience, you know? And I think
Yes.
people would reward them for taking that risk. So
Yes. I believe so. Yeah. So come on
yeah,
through, Ubisoft. Like it would
yeah,
be cool. Like we'll probably talk about it because I don't want to say anything because we got some good predictions. We're going to be planning our very own Nintendo Direct on how we want to see.
yeah,
But just to let everybody know, last bit of news that I think the game is called Kamiko. It's a game like a top-down Zelda style game that's out in Japan. Where Circle Entertainment did announce that it is coming to Switch to the West. They didn't give a price or didn't give a date, but they announced it on their Twitter page, so you could check that out. Not a lot of outlets have announced more of it, so probably by the time you see this, if you have not seen it on like IGN or GameSpot or any of those kind of places, and you hear it here first, and don't catch up with them on Twitter, then this is a Power Block exclusive. And it's a very great game. If you decide to get it on the Japanese account for the Switch, it's only $5. You could use your credit card if it's able to. If not, you could buy points off the Amazon Japan for the eShop. So Kamiko, yeah, it's coming out to it looks very, very cool. Uh I wait, hopefully when I get my Switch to get that game in the
yeah,
meta collection if it comes.
yeah, yeah. And then I know you guys are all kind of wondering, like, what are our thoughts on the rumor of the Nintendo SNES Mini coming later this year? Don't worry, Ed and I have a big show planned for that next week. Uh,
Yes.
we're each going to pick 15 to 20 games that we think should be on this thing. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. We're not going to go over that this week because E3 is essentially 5, 6 weeks away, and we want to get our big predictions. I know we did a little bit of a predictions show a couple weeks ago, or about, I guess, a month ago at this point, but we kind of want to put our flag in the ground and see how we do in June. So we're going to move on to our E3 predictions. What we're going to do, we've each come up with 8 predictions, and then we're going to kind of go over how we think our version of a direct should go if they do a direct instead of a conference. So, Ed, I'm going to let you start out and we'll just kind of volley back and forth.
All right, this is the Nintendo Extravaganza or Nintendo Ganza, as I like to call it. My first switch is going to be on Switch predictions. So my first one is new amiibo for Super Mario Odyssey. I believe there's going to be some new amiibo specifically for that game. You'll still be able to use the old Mario amiibo, but I think like you'll get the amiibo hat of Mario's as a playable thing and to give you special powers. So new amiibo for Super Mario Galaxy is my first one.
Nice. I'd be interested to see how those go because like
Oh,
that
and,
kind of
and
that, oh keep,
oh, and controllers for Super Mario Odyssey. I think there's going to be some specific Mario controllers for that.
yeah. Sorry, my can won't open. There we go. I did it.
Yay.
That kind of ties into my first prediction, actually, Ed. So good on you. I feel like they're going to lead off. I think Mario Odyssey is going to be their big game at E3. I don't think that's a secret. That's going to be their big holiday seller.
Yes.
They're going to lead off with Mario Odyssey, an extended gameplay demo. They're going to go through a couple of the worlds. And I think maybe this ties more into the treehouse than what they're announcing. I think they're going to go through some of the levels. I think they're going to go through some of the power-ups, some of the collectibles. Maybe take a tour of New Donk City, which I think we need to make a Pal Block New Donk City t-shirt.
Yes.
So but yeah, that's my first prediction is they're gonna have a huge, it's not, I don't even know if that even counts. I feel like that's a cop out. Mario Odyssey demo of a hard release date and maybe pack in an amiibo with it. I think if they're going to do amiibo for Super Mario Odyssey, they're going to pack one in, and it's going to be the Mario Odyssey hat amiibo guy. So that's my prediction. Mario Odyssey release date, demo, amiibo pack in.
Yay! We sync together on that one. Yes.
I know. Well, awesome. We usually do. We kind of do all the time. So
it's true.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll go on the next one. Retro shows their new T-rated game. I think their new game that they're going to announce is going to be teen-rated. It's not going to be a Metro game. I think it's going to be an original IP. It's going to be for Switch. What it is, I don't know, but I think Retro's good at maintaining sci-fi adventure fun platform, but I think they're ready to go dark and to go back to being dark and doing something so much multiplayer, but like more single player focus. What it is though, like I said, I just don't know.
Yeah, they've made their two money maker games, like, you know, Metroid Prime. As much as we love those games, they didn't sell extremely well. So they made their Donkey Kong side-scrolling platformer moneymaker games. So now I think it's time to let them loose. That's actually my next prediction as well. Retro shows their new game. I honestly think it's going to be Metroid Prime 4 or some sort of Metroid game. I think that's getting ahead of myself. I think that's how Nintendo is going to end the Direct. And like I feel like that's going to be Fire Emblem and Metroid are going to be their big pushes next year. Where, you know, Zelda came out in the spring this year and Mario comes out in the fall. Next year it's going to be Fire Emblem in the spring and Metroid in the fall. I feel that. I really feel that in my heart that's going to be it. So I think Metroid is going to be shown. I don't know if any gameplay. I think it's going to be a cool kind of 30-second sizzle reel / trailer. And at the end, It's just going to say Metroid. I think it's just going to be the Metroid logo. I really think they're going to announce Metroid. And I really think because based on, remember 3 years ago, who was it? I think it might have been Reggie in an interview, or maybe it was that whoever's in charge of producing Metroid said if we were to do another Metroid, it would take at least 3 to 4 years to build an engine for a quote next gen system and
Yes.
build a game from that engine and deliver it on next gen hardware. It's been 3.5 years since he said that. So I just, and Reggie always wears the Samus pin every year. I just feel it, man. I feel it. It's coming. Metroid's coming. It's going to be retro. I think they trust retro with that franchise, especially with the, mixed reviews from Team Ninja's Other M, which I liked Other M. Personally, I think that gameplay was cool. I didn't really care about the story, but I thought, using the remote sideways, and it's kind of felt more 2D-ish Metroid. It felt like it's felt like the Mario 3D world of Metroid, where it had that 2D feeling, but in a 3D space.
Yes.
That's what it felt like to me.
And
Yeah.
I think Team Ninja and Nintendo have a great trusted relationship. And with Tekken Tech, well, not Tekken Tech term, that's Namco. With Metroid Other M and how successful Hyrule Warriors it was, and even on 3DS, whether you like it or not, I think Team Ninja have always said this. They have learned a lot from Nintendo to make better games. So,
Yeah.
Whatever people feel about Other M and things like that, you kind of got to give Team Ninja that their expertise and Nintendo expertise, that was a debut. And if you believe in them, like I believe in them, support them and let them grow, let them work together, because Hyrule Warriors is a really great game. Other M is a really great game. Yeah, they both have their problems if you see it that way. Can argue that you guys work well, and given time, if you guys continue to work well and use each other to learn from, to make better games, I'm down for whatever they do. I would love to see if Team Ninja gets another chance to do another Metroid game, whether for 3DS or for Switch, or if Retro still does it. It won't matter to me. I still look forward to a Metroid game, but if Team Ninja gets another chance to do another Metroid game, I hope they take what they learned from Other M, apply the things that did work, and did improve on the things that could be fixed to make a better game.
Yeah.
Like definitely story is a big thing. Hopefully they're fixed. They tell a better story. It's just some gameplay elements. Get that fixed. But the action in the game, you cannot deny, was fluid, fun, and fast. Like
Yeah.
it really was good to blast them around and really get in close and do a attack to them. Be like, yeah, the Ninja Gaiden kind of action fits Samus and her fighting techniques.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also think like if they don't go that route, I still feel like they're going to try to do a better job of incorporating the Metroid Prime Federation Force multiplayer into this.
Yeah.
And I still think if I know so many people hate the idea of multiplayer in Metroid, but if they can keep the campaign separate from the multiplayer, you get your Metroid Prime campaign, but you also have your own bounty hunter for multiplayer stuff. If they can do a light Destiny style, Diablo style, loot based multiplayer experience where you can build up your bounty hunter and team up with friends, I think they could blow Metroid up into a prime time franchise. And like I still don't think Metroid is in the top 5 franchises for Nintendo. I think, you got Mario, you got Zelda. Those are obviously they're bestsellers.
Mhm.
And then, you know, the Mario spin-off games and stuff, you can count whatever, like Mario Kart and Smash are obviously top tier franchises. I still think the Donkey Kong games sold way better than Metroid ever did on Wii and Wii U. Like,
Mhm.
and then you got your end of generation obligatory Kirby games that always sell better than Metroid. I think if they do something cool with the multiplayer and keep it separate from your isolated single player exploration experience,
I
I think
literally
Nintendo. I honestly do think Nintendo had something, a cool idea with Federation Force. I think that idea was awesome,
yes.
except they put it on the wrong platform and it wasn't deep enough mechanically for people who are into those types of games.
And I agree. Yeah, I agree. And I was just thinking about this when you said a Destiny style kind of multiplayer. Like I could see that. And instead of killing your bounty, like you'll probably kill, like let's say they got a secret weapon or they create some secret enemy. All for you guys fight that enemy. But you're capturing a gang. So all
Yeah, what
four
if you
of
could
you
what if
are
you could like instead of like you got a certain amount of money for killing the enemy, but you got like double for capturing the enemy and turning it in as a real bounty. Like, and then
yes.
you got special loot for turning in a bounty with your friends. Like, how cool would that be?
Yes, yes, I would be down for that. I literally, and even if that is it, you know what? Even if that wasn't a mode, for that Metroid game, and they sold it separately, if $50, I would definitely pay $50 for that mode right now.
Hmm. Yeah, and like
And,
as much as I love Destiny, if they put that sort of formula or surrounding a Nintendo
mhm,
franchise like Metroid, I would I would I would get no, Destiny would be gone. I would
right.
totally sink all my time into a Metroid style multiplayer
And
game, which I did. I played a ton of Federation Force. It just got too hard to do by myself because the game wasn't balanced right for single player. It was super
oh,
fun. It was super fun. It got so hard and I didn't have any friends to play it with. And to that extent, like I had to stop playing because it got too hard because it wasn't balanced right. I just like the 3DS, the later 3DS things, like were experiments that were cool, and I think that's where Nintendo puts their experiments, and then they
yes,
take notes. What did we like? What do we not like? What's the player feedback like? And they take that into consideration. And I still feel like Federation Force at some point is going to show up on Switch. I feel like they have to time it right, and I feel like they may either A, separate it from the campaign of the next Metroid game, like sell it as a separate thing.
yes.
And if they do that, if they separate it, they have to put out the single player campaign first, because I think that's why a lot of people got mad, is we haven't had a single player Metroid in a long time. And we got this Metroid spin-off game before we got the proper sequel to whatever Metroid game they wanted,
Yeah.
which, you know, that kind of stuff, I mean, that's just the vocal minority being annoying. But you know,
And
I just think that people would be more inclined to be interested in that type of game after they see a Metroid single player.
well, I think, I think Nintendo kind of made a good, you know, choice not to put a single player Metroid out for a while, because there's too many indie games out there that's doing that formula, and because there's so much of that in that Metroidvania kind of style game, like I feel like the market for that got saturated, and people want the best of the best to come out, and believe people still believe to this very day that it is Metroid, that it is Samus. And for me, it kind of is. Like, you can, if you want the best Metroid style game ever made, still to this very day, Super Metroid is it.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
there's no denying that. Yes, Metroid the remake of Metroid One, not Metroid Fusion, but the other Metroid, that's a close second. But if you really want to get your hands on a very good Metroid style game, it's Super Metroid. And regardless if you get everything or be like, well, it's kind of dated now, you have got to give props to be like, this is where this is where this game kind of really started out being popular, that
Hmm.
people started respecting and loving the genre, and why people get inspiration to make games like this. Yes, Castlevania Symphony of the Night took that idea and did some other things, added some other things to it, but you could still, I'm like, you can look at Simon's Quest, Castlevania 2, and see where that actually started with its Metroidvania roots. Mixing the mixing Super Metroid, just mixing them together to make Symphony of the Night. That's how I look at it. But I think like right now, yeah, teasing it and then probably releasing it next year
Yeah.
or within a year and a half or 2 years. I think people will be ready for that Metroid.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
because right now, as a Metroid fan, I'm not even worried. I don't know what art style or what story are they willing to go and put in it. I still want to play a younger Samus and her kid when she was on the planet where she got adopted at and found. I want to
You
still
know what
play
would
that.
almost be cool? Almost be cool as like a story setup would be like the rebooted Tomb Raider, where like
Mhm.
Samus is kind of like, yeah, we know she has a military background, but for her to go off on her own and kind of survive on her own and work your way up from there, I think that would be a really cool premise for a story for like a Metroid Zero or Metroid prequel style game where
Well,
she's just out, she's on a planet and she has to scrap and survive because she's decided to leave the military.
yeah. I think with me, I kind of wanted to see how did her training actually start? How did she become Samus? Like, how did she get found and stuff? Like, I would like to know some more about that and play it as a game. But that's me in Metroid.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
but that Destiny Bounty Hunter style Metroid game, yeah, I'm down
And
for
you
it.
think
Cause
and you think of like in terms of Destiny and the raids and stuff, those raids are set up to where like it would totally fit a Metroid style thing where like if you're fighting space pirates, like there's multiple races, each raid has something to do with a different race, and you go through and you fight like the like okay, so I'm going to use King's Fall as an example for you Destiny fans. That was the Taken King raid. Uh you go in, you fight the War Priest, which is like Oryx's high commander, and then you
uh-huh.
go through and you fight Gogoroth, which is the big beast enforcer boss that Oryx uses to enforce the law on the Dreadnought, which is his ship. And then you go through and fight his daughters, which are like his second in command. You go through and fight them, and then you fight Oryx. What if you went through a Metro on a Metroid this hypothetical Metroid Destiny thing? You go through, and I know this is our E3 predictions and stuff, and we'll get back to that in a minute, but like you go through and like you're solving puzzles with your teammates, and you go through and then you fight a boss, but the boss has a really cool mechanic that you need to use to hurt the boss or be able to do damage to the boss. And then once you beat this boss, you move on to the next part of the raid. Destiny. It's hard to explain a raid
Like
for
you get
me.
like you get their powers like you would normally find. So like where if
Almost,
you defeat like you
or
defeat
like
the boss, it,
weapons,
like you
weapons
defeat the boss
connected
and
to
you
the
get the
boss.
miss
Yeah,
or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Like the War Priest drops probably what I still argue in Destiny is the best machine gun in the game, but it's made of the War Priest's armor and his bones and stuff. Like that's cool to me. Like to make the weapons part of the lore is cool to me. And like if they implemented that into uh this hypothetical Metroid Destiny thing, and like the first raid you'd fight, you know, Ripley at the end, or like, you know, I think it would be really cool. I think it would be really cool. And like, I don't know if you guys, I'm not going to explain the Destiny raid in depth anymore, but like if you want to check out what a raid looks like, I recommend King's Fall. Watch a playthrough of the King's Fall raid, and try to imagine, you know, a team of bounty hunters going in with a Metroid skin on it. I also think that raid has the most Metroid-y type aspects to it because there's puzzle solving, there's exploration, there's platforming, there's like, it's not all about just shooting a guy until it's dead. You know, it has a lot more cool mechanics than that. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of my prediction is Metroid is going to be announced. Leaving it back.
Well, guess I could move on. Capcom announces Disney Afternoon Classics, but this is the Super Nintendo games.
I really want the NES ones first, though.
But I think it'll probably be too late for people to play the NES ones on the Switch.
Yeah, it'll be fine. So. I'm still gonna buy it if it ever comes there. Like, that's the thing. I refuse to buy that game until it comes to Switch because those are Nintendo games. It's the same reason. True. It's the same reason why I didn't download Super Star Wars on PS4 because that is a Super Nintendo game. Like, as much as I like that game, and like I went back and played it on Virtual Console, it's actually really terrible. But as much as I like that game, when I played it, like, there's a Super Nintendo game. Why is it on my PlayStation?
Right.
So, I know that's weird. I'm dumb, but I'm supposed to be platform agnostic because we do a lot of shows and stuff. But like, it just bugs me. Anyways, sorry.
So, what is your game? What is your next game, Corey?
I think they're going to come out and detail this. I think they're going to come out and detail the Zelda expansion pass details of the holiday expansion, which is, I think, the more significant part of the expansion pass. I'm hoping like what I really want them to do is almost like a Majora's Mask type take on this world, where like they just put you in a new story and a new whatever. I don't know. I want them to. I think they're just going to explain what it is. I think, you know, we already know we're getting a new dungeon. I think they're going to have a couple more shrines to do, which will even, if they add 12 more shrines, it'll even out your stamina bar meter.
Do you think it's going to be worth not worth $20, but do you think it's going to be 20 hours worth of gameplay? And would you be satisfied with that?
I mean, depends on how much you want to put into it, right? Like, a lot of people are beating Zelda in under an hour now, but I've put 180 into it. So it just depends on, like, it depends on what you want to do with it. You know? And, you know, I've gotten my money's worth even without the expansion pass. I've paid $80 for Zelda, and I got my money's worth out of it. And I could not go back and do any of that, and I still feel like $80 was a good because of the time that I've put into it.
Yes.
And I'm still playing it. Like, I texted you last night. I wasn't going to do these Medals of Honor, but now that I got the first one, I think I'm going to go get the rest of them. Like,
and so, everybody, I did allow him to play because normally lately I have been yelling at him to go to bed, and he was like, "But I got shrines to get, I got Kuroko seeds to get," and stuff like, "Corey, go to bed."
But I just like I don't want to stop playing in this world. The world is so fascinating.
But I'll yell at you, and then 15 minutes later you'll be like you'll tell me you have like 640 Kuroko seeds, and then 15 minutes later you'll be like, I'm at 800. I'm like, 800? What did you do? Go to bed, and then be like, I'm tired. But that's our late night conversations. Our fun. Yeah. But congratulations, you got all 900 Kuroko seeds. I did. So congrats to you.
I did. I got all 900 seeds. I've got one of the medals, and now I'm trying to get the other two. They're relatively easy to get. You just have to fight the all the Hinox in the game and all the Talos, Stone Talos guys, and it's cool because it tells you which ones you've beaten already,
Mhm.
which makes it a lot easier. Like you walk up to it, and if when the life meter comes up, it will if you haven't defeated it, it'll just be normal. But if you have defeated it, it'll have a star by the name, and it says defeated, which is cool. Which I've actually gotten to skip probably about 10 of the enemies so far.
Nice.
So it was really cool. So, but the Zelda expansion, I'm still thinking there's this one area of the map that because like you place your markers down and you see where all the shrines are at and you see where all the towers are at. There's one section of the map that really doesn't have anything, like really anything. And I wonder if that's where that story stuff is going to take place because it's not a very big area of the map, but it's enough to notice that when you unlock all the shrines and do all the Korok seeds and stuff,
Mhm.
to notice that there's a pretty substantial gap of space. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I think that might be where the story is going to take place. So we'll see. I don't know. I could just be making it all up. But I don't know how they're going to do this expansion stuff because the world is set out so well. Like
Yeah.
it's just how do you put anything else in this world? But we'll see. I'm hoping it's you can start a new game and you play through a small story as Zelda.
Ooh.
Plus, like how the game ends kind of sets it up for a mini expansion. I want to say I don't want to ruin it or anything, but if you've beaten the game and you've watched that end cutscene and you see what Zelda and Link are doing, it sets it up for an expansion. So that's my
Nice.
third prediction.
Well, mine's is kind of short. Ubisoft reveals Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yep, that's my number 6. Ubisoft reveals a bunch of stuff for Switch, including Beyond Good and Evil 2 and Assassin's Creed. That
Well,
was my sixth prediction. So,
okay. Well,
I've
then what's
been
your next prediction?
I started okay. So I own Beyond Good and Evil HD on 360, and it is backwards compatible on Xbox One. I've been thinking about going back to play it because everybody that's played it says it's really good and it's sort of Zelda-like and whatever. But
Mhm.
what I didn't realize was Game Informer they do a show called Super Replay, which is something I want us to do eventually at some point, where we play through a whole game and just kind of talk about it while we play it and talk about stuff. And it's kind of
Yes.
like our let's play and podcast idea, but they play through the whole game in hour-long chunks. And they did one on Beyond Good and Evil, and I've been watching that, and I'm really invested. Like I think those characters are cool. I think Jade is an awesome protagonist, and I think that world is quirky and cool and fits
Yeah.
directly into this Nintendo ecosystem. Like
I
I think people would eat it up as long as they would be able to download Beyond Good and Evil HD on the Switch first. I think people would eat up Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I
I really
did
do.
I do own it for GameCube. I got to the inbox and somehow they inverted my controls. And I've never beaten the game. So I would love to return to it on Switch and play part 2 on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love to see Beyond Good and Evil on Switch. Beyond Good and Evil, and man, I just want to go out and say that I think Ubisoft is my favorite third party in terms of like their dedication to making fans happy and their dedication
Yes.
to sticking with a game. Like even though like some of their games aren't the types of games I like to play, but you look at a game like Rainbow Six Vegas or Rainbow Six Siege and how that game was kind of like didn't sell well, but they stuck with it and now the player base is bigger than it's ever been. And
Yes.
it's Steam, it's in the top 10 on Steam every month. It's grown. And you look at a game like The Division, which was pretty, the game itself, like the base game was really fun, but the end game was broken.
Yeah.
And you look at them and how they've kind of stuck with that and kind of fixed a lot of the issues. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with Destiny almost, where like, they just fixed some of the issues that people were having, and they continue to fix those issues to where the Division, even though it's still not perfect, works way better now than it did when it came out. And like I think that Ghost Recon Wildlands is going to have that same impact where like at first there weren't a lot of people who played it, but I think it's going to have that growing fan base as they add more content to it.
Yeah.
I really give it to Ubisoft for sticking by their games. They do so much for their fans, and they looked at Assassin's Creed also and said, look, not working. Fans are getting tired and fatigued of this. Let's take a year off. Let's fix the issues, and we'll see this fall if they fix those issues. But it seems like they're always listening to their fans in a way that not a lot of other companies do, at least big companies. I really give it to Ubisoft, and I think they're going to do a lot of cool stuff for Switch just based off the simple fact that they always support new hardware when it comes out, even if it doesn't do well, and they always do creative things. And so, but yeah, sorry, that was my little rant for Ubisoft.
Well, what is your next game
Oh,
or your
yeah,
next edition?
well, I kind of went off of yours because you said Beyond Good and Evil, and I said Ubisoft's going to provide a lot of third-party games like Assassin's Creed and Beyond Good and Evil 2 for Switch. That was my prediction.
Oh,
So,
okay. Well, we'll get some more dates for some of the fall games that came out with the Nindies and the latest Nintendo Directs. We'll get more information and actual get release dates and probably more information about it. So that's my prediction.
nice. I think we're going to see a lot of this. Is my next prediction. I think we're going to get some cool release dates for the Nindies they announced the last time, but I think they're going to do another Nindy showcase this time. And I think the games that we kind of want and expect to see on Switch, like I think Axiom Verge is going to make its way over.
Yes.
I think Hyper Light Drifter is going to make its way over. I think we're going to get a new Nindy showcase headlined by these games that were kind of promised for Wii U, and I know Axiom Verge did end up coming out on Wii U, and it's actually getting a physical copy in like what, a month,
Yes.
2 months, which I need to pre-order at some point. And I think that they're gonna do a mixture of here are your favorites on Wii U versus here are some new Nindies coming your way, and I still think Hyper Light Drifter would be awesome on Switch. For those of you that don't own a PlayStation 4, is it on Xbox One?
Yes, it is.
Okay. It's kind of a top-down pixelized, kind of a mix between old school Zelda, and it's pretty tough. A lot of people compare the combat to Dark Souls, where like it's really hard to master and stuff. So if you're looking for it's not as hard as Dark Souls, but if you're looking for that Zelda type experience, it's definitely one to pick up. But that's mine. I want. There's 3 games I really want on Switch. 3 indie games I really want on Switch really bad. And Axiom Verge, Hyper Light Drifter are 2 of them, and N++ is the other one. I really want those games in a handheld form.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, my next prediction is we'll have more info on the online structure for Nintendo.
Yep. And that kind of goes into my next one. I think they're going to show off their online infrastructure, and then they're going to make a Smash Bros. For Switch announcement. They're going to try to do a 1-2 punch for the fall, and I think Smash Brothers is going to come out this fall. It's going to be I think it's just going to be a deluxe version of the Wii U game. But still, I mean, do you really need anything else? And I think it's going to be more of a service now, where they're going to, release DLC periodically. Because I don't know how much better you can make Smash in terms of the way it plays and the way it looks and the way, the stages look. I think the only way you do that is by adding stages, adding characters, stuff like that.
Uh,
So I think that Smash Brothers on Switch is going to become a service, and people are going to be able to buy the $60 version and then, just download characters down the line once they start adding more. Because I think there are characters that deserve to be in that game. I think Ice Climbers are probably going to come back. I think the Inklings from Splatoon need to come back or need to be in it. And I think the characters from ARMS need to be in it.
Oh my goodness. I think that all of that would be for the next Smash for Switch. Like the next follow up to the Smash line.
Like Smash 5?
So yes.
I see, I don't know. I think if they do deluxe for the Wii U version, I still feel like they could just add these characters as DLC.
I mean, but you got a lot of characters already in that game.
Yeah, I know.
So
but
I would rather wait because it's definitely with ARMS and stuff. I would rather put them in a new game, a new Switch game of the Smash 5, and let people, let the regular ARMS game, be a success or be a failure depending on how you want to see it when it comes out. Give it that time and that space and stuff.
and
Like, I would rather see it I would rather see that in 5.
And yeah, I guess if they do make another Smash, I think they would try to get characters from popular indie games too in there instead of going out and getting these big third parties. Like, I think Shovel Knight and Ukulele would fit well in Smash personally.
Yeah.
And then once I mean, Shovel Knight's already super popular, and I think that a lot of Nintendo fans hold Ukulele to a Nintendo type standard of fandom. And I think if those characters take off as popular characters on Switch, that they would be in Smash as well. But that's my prediction. They're going to show Smash in some form this year.
Well, my last one for Switch is Telltale Games brings some of their older episodic adventures for $20. Switch.
Yeah. I don't care about the older ones, but I would really like Batman, and I would really like Guardians of the Galaxy, and I guess I would like Wolf Among Us too.
Yeah, and just bring those whole collections. That's why I said the older ones, like for $20, like just
right.
like Bell.
Okay, well, I didn't really separate mine into Switch and 3DS. I just kind of made a bunch of predictions. So, Mario Maker. Oh, sorry.
I have 3DS. So, but I don't know.
Well, we can just keep going, and I just mix my predictions in there, and then you can just do your 3DS ones too. But my prediction is, I think Mario Maker is going to make its way over to Switch. Not this year. I think it's going to be, in the spring. I think Nintendo wants a 1-2 punch for the spring as well, and I think Fire Emblem and Mario Maker are going to be those two. Especially with the hype around Mario during the holiday, I think a lot of people are going to be excited because we're getting that Mario game, and then Mario Maker will be their 2D Mario game. And it'll either be a spring release or it's going to be the fall release next year. So I think they are going to announce it this year, though. Mario Maker is coming to Switch. Although Nintendo has been doing a good job of not announcing things too far in advance.
Yeah,
like we always complain that developers are announcing things, in advance, like 2-3 years. Nintendo's been sticking around that year, 14-month, 16-month window.
Yeah, or they'll announce something that's ready to come out, but then if it has to be a delay, they'll make the announcement of the delay. Like they'll do a video, and express their apology, that they had to delay the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
It's gonna be interesting to see that game make that transition without a second screen, but I don't really think it needs a second screen.
Yeah.
I don't think people are watching their TV while they're doing stuff on their gamepad. I do think, however, the Switch version of Mario Maker will come with some sort of stylus, so people don't scratch their or get smudgy marks all over their screens.
Or the screens.
Yeah, but that's my kind of.
Or they'll probably just use the Joy-Con.
Yeah, they can do that
when it's docked, I should say.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but that's my one prediction, I guess. The next one. So
how many predictions did you have left?
I have 2 more.
2 more? Okay. Well, let me do all of my 3DS and then we'll get your last 2. Because I know we have to.
Actually, I only have 1 more because we already did my number 6 one with yours. So
okay, well, let me do all my 3DS and then we'll get to your last prediction. Because we still got to actually make our Nintendo Direct. So our perfect Nintendo Direct, I should say. Okay, yeah. So for 3DS, I believe there's a new Mario and Luigi RPG. There'll be a Splatoon 3DS, Atlas placing a new RPG, or Persona 3 Golden for 3DS. New Super NES games for the new 3DS. New 3DS models, Bravely Default sequel, Pokemon follow-up, and Metroid.
Wow. Okay. Well, it kind of beats my prediction. So about 3 weeks ago, we talked about how Square wanted to port some of their older games and some collections to Switch.
Yes.
So I think Square is going to have a very heavy presence within either the Nintendo Direct or, sometime close to E3, where Square is going to port collections of Kingdom Hearts, of some kind, and will announce that the Mana Collection is coming west.
Yes.
So those are my predictions for Square's wanting to port stuff to Switch. And I think all of those would fit well. I think Kingdom Hearts especially would fit well, because like 80% of the Kingdom Hearts games, whether people realize it or not, are on a Nintendo platform, whether it's Game Boy Advance or DS or 3DS. Like the only ones not on there are Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and Birth by Sleep, I guess, at this point, which was the PSP game. So I could see those games coming to Switch easily. Maybe not Kingdom Hearts 3, although I would love Kingdom Hearts 3 to be on Switch. But
True.
at least the collection that they released for PS4. So that's kind of my predictions list. I don't know how Nintendo would. I don't know how much more they can announce, since there's already so much announced that it would take some third parties and indies to be to make more announcements instead of Nintendo. The only thing I would like to see, though, is Metroid. So, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Do we want to build our perfect direct now?
Let's take a break first, and then let's build it after that.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we are going to build our perfect direct. So, yeah, stay tuned. Don't go away. And we're back to give our perfect direct, how we would love to see Nintendo Direct go, or conference. Who knows what they're doing yet? But yeah, we're gonna do our perfect direct. Ed, I don't know. Do you want to go first, and then we'll discuss, and then I'll go, and then we'll discuss again.
Are we just gonna do our whole direct thing and then discuss, and then your whole direct and then discuss?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, we get the intro of the Nintendo Direct. It's all good, all perfect and stuff. Then
Are they gonna do the
goofy,
Star
very
Fox thing? No.
They'll do something funny, I think. The intro is going to be Yoshiaki Kazumi. He is the kind of the spokesperson now, kind of for the Nintendo Direct. So I could see him coming out and doing some goofy stuff and working with the team or Reggie or Bill and stuff. I don't know what they might do, the puppet thing. That seems cool. They might do something animated. That seems cool too. I would love to see them do like a animated, like Star Fox animation kind of thing. I would love them to do stuff like that for the intro. But the first game they show off is going to be Splatoon 2, and we're going to have some more news about it. After that, they're going to go to Skylanders. The latest Skylanders. Go after that, they'll go into Assassin's Creed. And then after the Assassin's Creed, Ninja Gaiden is going to make a return to 3DS. And then it's a comedy skit. They do a skit, and that leads it to Damon Baker coming out talking about the new Nindies. So he gives dates to those from the Nindy Direct. Rhyme and Ukulele get dates soon that summer. Ever Oasis and DL and some of the DLC comes talking about Fire Emblem Shadows of Valor DLC, and then they'll go to one more comedy skit. They'll come back and there'll be another trailer of Monster Hunter Stories, which will get a release date and amiibo. They'll probably do a montage, or they'll do a third-party unexpected game like they did Payday 2. They'll do something like that. They'll just drop in some unexpected third-party games. Capcom and Konami will both each come with an unexpected game. We'll get Injustice 2 for Switch. Original, they will bring Unravel, Fee, and a new EA original exclusive to Switch. Sonic Force and Mania will get release dates. They'll show more of that. Tokyo Mirage Session 2 will be out on Switch or a new Atlas console game. Sega unannounced Switch games from the Switch conference will come into fruition. We'll get No More Heroes 3. Double Dragon 4 will be coming to Switch and 3DS. Super Mario Galaxy 3 will be revealed. Super Mario Odyssey, they'll speak more about it. That's where the amiibo and the DLC and everything will come. Bayonetta 3 will get announced. They'll show off Breath of the Wild DLC. T-rated game will come out. And then Reggie comes out and surprises us with a new title developed with Team Ninja or Yakup Games. And who knows what that could be. And then they'll probably show another game, unannounced game, and then whatever that unannounced game is the big game they're going to end with.
Nice. I just thought of another prediction that I thought it could be very, very Nintendo-like, but we'll save it. I'll save it for another time. But
no. You have to. I'm on pins and needles. Well,
now that you said that, I think that Reggie's
No, hold on. Listen, add it to your direct.
Hold on, something just happened. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I kicked my microphone thing. Sorry about that. So I think Nintendo is going to launch the Direct. I don't know if they're judging by the last Direct that they did. I don't know if they are going to do anything super funny. I think they're going to have some fun with it, but I don't know if they're going to go the Star Fox Muppet route again or anything like it, or the Robot Chicken thing they did a couple years ago. I think they're going to lead off with Mario Odyssey. I think they're going to heavily display that game. I think they're going to have a release date for that game. Uh,
Uh-huh.
I think after that, they're going to go into um, the amiibo that go with it. I think there's definitely going to be Super Mario amiibo. There's always going to be a Mario amiibo. Um, and then I think they're going to go after that into the Zelda DLC, and then they're going to explain what the new Zelda amiibo do within Breath of the Wild. The
Oh, I
the
forgot all
Majora's
about
Mask, Skyward Sword, and Twilight Princess amiibo. They're going to kind of explain what they do, even though we kind of already know what they do. Um, and then after that, I think they're going to go into Fire Emblem Warriors and kind of give that big, uh, kind of more of a better understanding of where the direction of that game is going to go. And then a release date, which I predict August, to because that game's not big enough to be put into uh, the same time frame as like they want to get it out before Destiny and Shadow of War and Call of Duty and all the big fall games start releasing. I think they want to get it out beforehand.
it.
So I think August, especially since they do have a major game coming out every month up to August. So I think that's the one they're going to lead off with. And then they're going to go into some 3DS stuff. I think they're going to go into, Hey Pikmin and some other 3DS things. They're not going to make a big, huge deal out of it. I think they're going to go do the fast checklist thing like they did in the Direct. Kind of give us little bits and pieces. And then after that, I think in the middle of their Direct, you're gonna see the Smash Brothers logo pop up and see a cool Smash Brothers trailer for Switch. That's gonna be their big October game, I think. Oh no, I think September. It's gonna be their big September game. And then after that, they're going to go into Pokemon Stars, which will be their October game. So they'll have a big game every month until December.
Okay.
I think that's going to be it, and then they're going to go into their Nindy montage, and leading off the Nindy Direct will be Yacht Club Games Super Shovel Knight. It's going to be the 16-bit sequel that they've already kind of explained they want to do in 8-bit, which was Shovel Knight, Super Shovel Knight, and then Shovel Knight 64. Like, I think Super Shovel Knight is going to be announced, and it's going to lead off the Nintendo Nindy montage, and it will be released next year as a Nintendo timed exclusive. Calling it right now. What? What'd you say, Ed?
PC. Mobile
No,
PC.
no. I think it's going to be a Nintendo timed exclusive, Switch and probably 3DS at that point.
So only those two platforms. So PC wouldn't get it
Until Xbox One and PS4 will get it later down the line. Maybe like
okay.
a 6-month exclusive, I think. And then after that, they'll show like Axiom Verge and stuff like that. And then going into towards the end of the Direct, they're going to start doing third-party stuff. I think they're going to show Beyond Good and Evil. I think they're going to show Assassin's Creed. I think they're going to show Rayman Legends. I think they're going to show something by EA and Activision. I think they want to get at least one or two big things from each of the major third-party developers or publishers on there. And then to wrap up not to wrap up, but I think they're going to have some Square announcements as well and mixed in with them.
Okay.
So Yeah, they're gonna have something big from each of the publishers. And Bandai Namco, if this Pac-Man Maker thing is real, I think that that is going to be a time exclusive on Switch as well. So there's a lot of third-party jumble after that Smash Nindy section of the direct, and then they're going to come out and show at the end. They're going to show the rest of the games that were announced previously, like Xenoblade 2. I think they're going to show off. I think they're going to dive a little bit more into what the Fire Emblem game for Switch is going to be. Uh, you know, they're going to do like a small montage of those games and give kind of a better release window for those games. And then Reggie's going to come out and say one more thing, and it's going to be the Metroid reveal. And that's how they end the conference.
I was just thinking about Dragon Quest 11. I forgot all about that. They might announce that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that'll be more in the Square kind of releases that are coming.
Oh, okay.
Like during the Square, I think Square is going to have a little bit more prominence than the other third parties. Maybe Ubisoft has a bit more too, because they will probably have more coming to Switch than everyone else. But I think they're going to give Octopath Traveler a name and a release date. I think they're going to announce the Mana Collection is coming stateside. I think they're going to announce some sort of Final Fantasy game. I don't know if it's going to be a port or something. I would like to see like the Super Nintendo games get a collection. So that's kind of my prediction there. And then maybe a Bravely Default HD collection of some sort. That's just a wishful thinking. I don't think that's really going to happen. But yeah, they're going to end on Metroid. And I think Bandai Namco is going to have a bigger slot in there as well, just because they co-developed Smash, and maybe they are going to release the Dark Souls 3 Game of the Year edition or whatever it was on Switch, because that's been a rumor for a long time, and they published that game, so I think that that's going to be some sort of announcement also.
What about that new Dark Souls style Dracula game? I think Vide or something. I think that's the name of it.
The vampire game that they just announced.
Yeah.
Let me find it.
Or did they already announce what platforms?
See, I don't know. It's called Code Vein. Let's see. It hasn't been announced for any specific platforms. It just says major home consoles in 2018. So, I mean, I really don't know, but its art style looks really cool. It looks like more of a art direction over power type thing. It actually kind of has a Darksiders mixed with Dark Souls type vibe in terms of art direction. So I don't know if it's going to come to Switch, but it looks like a game that wouldn't take a lot to run on Switch. Now, I don't know. There's no trailer or anything showing gameplay. It's just screenshots. But judging by the screenshots and the way the characters are designed and stuff, it doesn't look super intensive. So I don't know. It could come to Switch. I would buy it if it came to Switch, but I'm not super into Dark Souls. Not that this is developed by From Software. It's just a new RPG project from them. So it's going to be interesting.
Eagles Gay.
Oh yeah.
Bloodstain. Bloodstain. I keep thinking of Bloodlines, but it's not that.
I think that'll be more in the Nindies. I think that, along with Shovel Knight, Super Shovel Knight, and I guess I don't know if Yooka-Laylee will be out on Switch by then, but that'll probably highlight as well. And then SteamWorld Dig 2 and those games. So, but yeah, I think it's going to be a big direct. I think it's going to be hard to shove all that inside of an hour. I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo wants all this, they're going to have to do maybe an hour and a half direct. And kind of consolidate a lot of it. Uh, I don't know. I know a lot of people want to know what Nintendo is doing outside of the games that have already been announced, but I think Nintendo wants to focus on getting the games that they've already announced in people's hands and explaining it to people and stuff. So it's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I like your list. I think your list is more precise. That it's gonna probably be that way. Mine's is just wild speculation. But yeah, I cannot wait. Uh, I don't know if we should do it. No, it's not a drinking game because you'll have your your monster, and I'll have some kind of like Mountain Dew. And every time the prediction we got wrong,
I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that Tuesday. I will be up early and we are just
yes.
we're gonna do a live stream all day, just kind of talking and playing games and stuff before then maybe talk a little bit about what happened the other 2 days. Like I think it'd be cool if you and I had a discussion on the PlayStation and Xbox conference and then like the third party conferences in particular
Oh, I'm
and
down.
see if like it'll still be like a Nintendo Power Block pre-show, but like I want to have that talk to see if you think any of the games that were shown off will ever be translated over to Switch and like how those conferences were in general, and then we can compare the Switch conference to those two conferences. And I know we're gonna be the people that are like, yeah, the Switch conference was the best one, and like, we're gonna be those people. But
Yeah.
I want to have that discussion about those other platforms because like we talk a lot about Nintendo, but we don't really have a lot of conversation about the other platforms. So
Yeah.
that's something.
Well, I know for E3 session, besides Switch and Nintendo, it's going to be Scorpio.
Mhm.
There is no doubt about it. Scorpio is going to be the talk of the town. Positives, negatives, what people think, if price is right, announced dates, all of that's going to be all discussed.
Games, like
Games,
where that's my big concern about Scorpio. Where are the games? Like I don't know. Are they going to do like I don't know. I just don't know. Is Crackdown and
I
Forza going to be the big games for that right now?
because I love Phil Spencer.
I do too. I think he's
I
probably the outside of like I mean, even in terms of Reggie, and nothing against Reggie or anything, but I think Phil
right.
Spencer has the biggest grasp on what gamers kind of want and how he's turned that boat around.
Yes.
Really, like, I mean, the Xbox One was all but dead, and then he came in and turned it around.
Yes. And
He's such an amazing person to listen to because he's the businessman, but he knows how to translate the business aspect of the Xbox brand to the gamers in terms that we can understand.
right.
And like he gives a very clear focus on what he wants for the platform and like what his goals are. It's just he's such a fascinating person to listen to.
It's this transparency, and he'll keep it real with you. I mean, there's some stuff that he has to hold back and stuff, but he's transparent and he will address things that people really want to hear answers to. He'll go out and address it. I think what with Xbox and Scorpio, I think they're learned from Nintendo to save up the announcements, save up the games, and spread it out. I know people are always going to be like, where are the games at? Well, are you talking about where the games at are from Microsoft or where the games at from third party? Got the games from third party, whether they on PS4 or Nintendo platforms. The games are there. Indies and third party are there. The games for first party for Microsoft may be the question that you have, but the system does have games. Now, people want a cavalcade of games to be released, But I think they held back, and like I said, they probably learned from Nintendo to space their games out to give it
Mhm.
to give breathing room, because you don't want to hit you don't want to throw all your top tier games and your hits in the beginning, and then slowly start releasing games that really, not saying don't matter, but games that's gonna probably get ignored and not even being kept up on. People are going to be mad about that. Be like, well, we played the games that we wanted in the beginning, so what's coming up next? And
Yeah.
that's going to change people's perceptions and expectations. So I think Microsoft right now has learned from Nintendo to be like, yes, we hold some stuff back. We're spacing out some games, and working on them. And hopefully, when the Scorpio comes out, because definitely they did it with Switch. Nintendo did it with Switch. They held some stuff back. Um, and it even held information. It was just like, we're not talking about anything till we're ready, till they got stuff ready. Now look how Nintendo are rolling out games. Look how Nintendo are presenting what they got for 2017 leading into 2018. I think Microsoft sat back and took a look at that and be like, okay, they're doing it, so we need to probably take that business plan and apply it to us, and so that we can space it out. Because if you even look at PS4, what is it that they got for this fall? So where are the games are at for the fall for PS4? We
Mhm.
know stuff is coming for Scorpio and Nintendo, but PS4, besides that motorcycle zombie game, Days Gone, and God
If
of
that
War,
doesn't if that doesn't release this year, I think a lot of people are just going to pass on it. Like
right?
I think I don't know. I think Microsoft does a good job at holding stuff close to the vest and then showing us what they have at E3 to release in the fall. Whereas
Yes,
Sony kind of went and showed us everything they have, but they didn't really give us a roadmap of where these games are at. So
right.
like that's kind of like the big difference right now in terms of like, Microsoft probably has some exclusive stuff in development that a lot of it's going to come out this fall. We just don't know what it is yet, and people are concerned. Like, okay, well, Sea of Thieves is probably going to be an August September style release to get out before the October November push. Forza's obviously your November or your October game because it's your racing game that comes out every year in October like clockwork.
Right.
What's your big November game? Is it going to be Halo 3 Anniversary? Is it going to be, Crackdown?
Cuphead.
Is it going to be something new that we don't even know about yet?
I think for November it's going to be Scorpio. I literally think it's going to be
You just think it's
Scorpio.
just going to be the console and
It's going to
say,
be the console and some exclusive games for it. I literally think that, because they're going to have. I think they're going to get ready to do Slim and Scorpio bundles for the holiday. But
yeah.
Scorpio is going to probably be the big release for.
Unless they get like the marketing on something on another big game like Red Dead, I think maybe they could do what Sony's been doing so well is
I,
get
I
these
I
major
don't think
third party. I think they're going to get these major third party games and
no,
kind of put it towards their own system.
I think Rockstar wants Red Dead for a month to itself. I think they want to repeat the success that Grand Theft Auto did in September. So they want to get a good month that they can see, that they can have to themselves.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
we'll see. I don't even know if Red Dead's even going to come out this year.
I
I think it's
think
going to
it's
be
gonna
like
be.
a April May release next year.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be Crackdown 3. But the best money, I would say, if they're gonna go big with Scorpio, it's gonna be Forza, because Forza is huger than Crackdown and Halo. Like, Forza is going to guarantee a lot of sales for that platform. So why not bring, because I easily could say this, that Forza looks beautiful. Forza Horizon, that looks beautiful
Mhm.
in motion. So I give that to Microsoft, and I think that's going to be the big thing for when Scorpio comes out for Microsoft. And like I said, I
Plus,
think it's going to be November, because there's some people who think of Call of Duty, but I don't think Call of Duty is going to be successful or people going to really
I
care
don't.
about
I
it.
think. I think Call of Duty peaked a couple years ago, and like it's on its way down. I don't think people look at Call of Duty the same way they used to.
Yeah,
Uh, and to your point, car games are always the games that people use to show off their new system and what it can do and how like the graphics, car games have always been that. You look at Gran Turismo on PlayStation 2, you look at Forza on 360, you look at Project Gotham Racing on 360, like those games, like the car games are just going to be the visual masterpiece that you want to show your console off with. So
yeah, and if you think of car games, pretty much Forza and Mario Kart are the leading two racing games. You want your real style racing, you get Forza Motorsport. You want your arcade games, you get Mario Kart. Or if you feel like having a mix, Forza Horizon, I would say.
Right, and you look at like Sony's probably going to release Gran Turismo Sport this year on Pro, and you're going to want to show off Forza on Scorpio and say, look, our car game looks better than theirs. Come play on Scorpio. So that's probably going to be the way to go, especially if Sony's putting up Gran Turismo as their big fall game. So
because Drive Club 2 is going to be a mess after the problems they had with the original Drive Club. Sony is.
Well, I don't think they're going to go back to Drive Club. I think Gran Turismo is going to be it. No,
I think they're going to go. I think they're going to do a Drive Club too. Sony got to pull something out because God of War, that new God of War, as much as it looks good, that's not enough to hold. That's not enough to hold Sony. And The Last of Us 2 is not enough to hold Sony.
It's going to be interesting.
Yes.
I think that, we kind of prefer different games than those. I think that a lot of Sony's stuff kind of looks samey to me. The third person action game kind of look over the shoulder, like as great as, Uncharted and Horizon and The Last of Us are, and what God of War looks like to be doing, and Days Gone, they all look like good games. In Horizon and Uncharted were good games, to be fair. I just think you and I are into different games, but at the same time, I think all of Sony's stuff is starting to look like they're part of the same mold. And that's where I think Xbox can capitalize. They don't have a lot of games that are in the same mold. You look at, you look at Halo and how different it is from Gears, how different it is from Crackdown, how different it is from Forza. I just feel like The Last of Us is Uncharted in a zombie apocalypse, and Horizon is Uncharted with an open world. Don't get me wrong, they're different games. They all feel the same, You know what I'm saying? They just all feel the same. I don't really know how to explain it, and maybe that was a bad way of explaining it, but they all just feel like they're part of the same mold.
Can I say the only game that I'm looking forward to PS4 that just came to mind is actually Knack 2.
Yeah. And I think Spider-Man could break the mold for them too.
Yes.
I think Spider-Man looks cool because Insomniac always does awesome stuff.
They make top tier quality games. So yeah, I support Insomniac on that. I mean, I really don't care about Spider-Man, but I'm interested to see what they're doing. And Sucker Punch. I want to give a shout out and love to Sucker Punch.
Yeah, I still think like a lot of people were down on Infamous Second Son. I still think that's Sony's best exclusive. For me personally, I feel like Infamous Second Son was Sony's best exclusive this generation so far. And like, I don't know, man. I think Horizon didn't grab me. Like I wanted it to really bad, but it just didn't grab me. And going back to it after Zelda now, it's just like this. It already feels dated.
Well, I give props to Guerrilla Games for doing something different, and really making a beautiful game that, like I said, that it defines the PS4 of why you should own one. I believe, and Uncharted for some people, you could say that, but the two games I have come, and hopefully Knack 2 or whatever that third game is going to be, to actually feel like you need a PS4. Right now, it's Horizon and The Last Guardian. for me that you should own a PS4. Xbox One got a lot of good games like Ori and the Blind Forest, Gears, Forza Horizon, and more games coming out. But like this E3, I think, you know, Sony has to show us what games they got. Microsoft had to prove with the Scorpio why people need to own one and come with the games. And Nintendo just got to just announce dates because they got, like I said, they got the summer and they got the holiday sold up. They got great top games coming out for this year. And whether they're average or not, you have to give it to Nintendo to be like, well, you guys are releasing close to 30 to 50 some games for Nintendo platforms, not just Switch. 3DS is also included.
And there's still, I mean, I know Breath of the Wild was the last Wii U Nintendo game, but there's still Wii U games coming out. I mean, there's some big indie games that came out last week, and I know that Rayman 3 and Rayman Advance, I think, just came out on the eShop. Yes. And then, Darksiders is coming. Cars 3 is coming if you want to pass down your Wii U to your kids. Like, there's some Lego games I'm sure will be coming to Wii U this fall at some point. So there's a lot to look at with Nintendo in terms of the grander scale of things. And like, I know this is a Nintendo podcast, but like, it is interesting to compare what Xbox and PlayStation are doing, because I kind of look at this show, like, before you get to your point, I'm sorry I cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
But like, for people that aren't super into games and just enjoy listening to podcasts, and maybe, Nintendo is kind of like I always look for Nintendo podcasts personally, like in terms of to listen to and see what's happening in that space, because 90% of the things that are happening on PlayStation and Xbox are kind of samey in terms of third party and stuff like that. I want to give people that perspective from time to time, where like we kind of look at the other two platforms and kind of compare and contrast what Nintendo is doing alongside these platforms. And I think we just did that just now. Like, this is what's coming to these other platforms, and why is it different from Nintendo, and why is Nintendo different from them? Which is kind of what I want to do for the POW Block E3 pre-show that day. I kind of want to talk about, okay, we'll pinpoint this episode and say, look, this is what we kind of thought was happening this fall. And like, when we get to that pre-show, Sony and Microsoft will have already gone. And we can say, look, okay, we have a better roadmap. What Xbox and PlayStation are doing this fall, what is Nintendo up against with their announcements and stuff. So, and
what I definitely like about this E3 is that between all three platforms, everything is unexpected. Like, and this is going to make 2017, I think, in video games in this whole industry strong. We got great titles that came out this first half. E3 being unexpected. Like, we know some things like Scorpio. Some party we could predict some games, but we don't know anything what anybody is doing. So with E3, once it's going and once it's done, we have a better understanding, and we just now can see what is going to be top great games and stuff people could look forward to in this fall. And this is for just 2017. So once again, it's that great time to be a gamer and into video games, and I'm happy to see that. And I love the fact that I really don't have a grasp of what E3 is going to be until everything gets revealed and stuff. But that makes E3 exciting when just the unexpected comes. Like your expectations are like surpassed being met, to be like, wow, because if Nintendo just says Mother 3 available for eShop right now for Switch for Japan, people are just like, well, it is region free, and people get it on their Japanese account. That's big business. But if there's like, yeah, it's out for America and Japan, I'm down for it. I'm literally down for it. And that could be anything unexpected. Microsoft could be like, we're releasing games for our original Xbox on the system. You could download some of those games today. Cool with that. PS4 start coming out with some of their old PS1 classics, and it got remastered, or the sequels are coming out, like Warhawk. I would love to see a new version of Warhawk come out. I'll be like, oh, that's cool. They brought it back. Bam. Anything is unexpected. Anything is up for grabs. And I think that's what's going to make this E3 strong, the 2017. Like, you cannot deny that 2016 was good, but Breath of the Wild dominated all of 2016, the E3 2016.
I think if you just stopped right now with releases, I think 2017 is better than 2016, to be honest with you. Like, everything that's released this year, like, and, people are skipping great games to play other great games. It's that good of a year. Like, I still haven't beaten Horizon. I haven't gotten to Mass Effect. I haven't gotten to Ghost Recon. I've been too busy with Zelda.
Yes. And and Mass Effect is literally the only game that I'm missing right now. That's the only, and probably some indie guys in Switch.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this year's been a great year for games, and I'm excited to see, because in the 6 weeks we will know pretty much everything that's coming this fall, and we will know what the roadmap looks like for Switch and the other consoles, and it's gonna be interesting to see how empty my wallet is, and if I have to sell a kidney or a lung or a testicle or something. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. So yeah, that's I guess that's gonna be our show. Ed, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. That's I think that's gonna be our show for today. Thank you so much for listening. Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at @retrocode. And if this is coming out Friday, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. People who are listening to this, come to my World 101 page. We are going to be talking to the creator of Axiom Verge this Sunday. So we would love to get your guys' questions and what you want to ask them, so we could present it to them and get answers. Yes, we will ask them about the Switch. So hopefully we get answers about that. But, we want to hear from you guys. So World 101 forum on Facebook. You guys can go there. You can hear my podcast, Optional Opinion, on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, at the Anonymous Radio Network.podbean.com, and other podcast apps. My friends, happy Johnny and Deuce from Happy Hour with Johnny and Deuce. We talk about 80s and 90s cartoons and snacks. So do give that a listen. You guys can check that out right now. And World 101 podcast, you can find that at shoutsengine.com and on SoundCloud. If you subscribe to my Optional Opinion page on SoundCloud, you'll be able to get those World 101 podcasts also. I do have to update them, so that will be coming shortly in a couple of days. But yeah, you can find me there. Optional Opinion, if you still own a Wii U. I will be putting up my 3DS code, because I haven't put it up there on the NGR Radio and on the Power Block Facebook page. Yeah, you can check me out there. I do have other stuff, but follow me on Twitter to get more about that.
Yeah. You can follow me on Twitter at Corey Hudson in HD. You can also find me on Instagram at Corey in HD. I'm trying to set up our Twitch page this weekend to be able to do live streams and gaming and stuff. So I'll have more information there as well on my Twitter and stuff. So you can find all of our content on ngrradio.com. You can find NGR Radio every Monday. You can find this show every Tuesday and Friday by 10 a.m. Hopefully. Some upload issues happened earlier this week, so some of the shows were late. But you can subscribe to our YouTube page, which more stuff's going up there. Ed and I broke down the last Nintendo Direct if you want to go check that out. on our YouTube page. You can check it out there. And join our Facebook groups. We do have a Power Block Facebook group. You can check it out, Nintendo Power Block. Or you can join the NGR Radio Facebook group at facebook.com/group/NGR Radio Podcast. Ed and I are both in there and other places as well. Thank you so much for watching or listening. And until next week, we're out.
Yes, we are out.